Welcome back to another episode of the Just Gonna Send It podcast. I'm your host, Jim Belosic. Today I'm joined by our lovely SendCutSend president, Erin Belosic, who is also my wife of more than 20 years.
Hi. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
So we met almost 25 years ago. Is that correct?
Almost.
Something like that?
It's like 23 and a half.
We've been married for 20. We met about 23.
Mm-hmm. We're 21 years old.
Why don't you tell the audience about how that went down?
Yeah. Well, I was in college.
Should we edit in a little photo of, can we edit in a Jim and Erin here, right here? Yeah.
What, a photo of us?
Yeah.
I have a photo of us on our second date.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were 21. I was home from college. It was winter break. And my parents owned a sign shop in Reno, Nevada. And I was there one day visiting my parents. And my mom said, like, hey, I have this guy working for me. Like, would you want to go out with him? And I'm like, well, can I meet him first? You know, what is this supposed to be? What do you remember?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it started before that.
You do?
Yeah, because...
for you, maybe.
Yeah, because I was selling radio. I was selling radio advertising.
Oh,
and
okay.
I called your mom. I called her shop. And I was like, hey, I used to work at a sign shop. And I'm selling radio ads. And your sign shop should be on the radio so that you can get more customers. And she's like, you sound like a good salesperson. Why don't you come in and talk to me? So she made me a job offer right then. I think she liked me.
It's pretty amazing.
And then she's immediately goes to set me up with you. She goes, my daughter is going to be home for Christmas. I'd like you to take her out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I was like, no, thank you. Because I like my job. Like, you don't date the boss's daughter.
Well, and I said, no, thank you, because I didn't even live there.
Yeah.
You know, what?
Yeah, no,
but then
you were in
my
North
head,
Carolina. Yeah.
I think I met you, and in my head, I was like, you know, this could just...
Devastatingly handsome.
Pretty sure you had a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah.
I think it was Friday Hawaiian shirt day at work.
Yeah.
But I just thought, well, you know, it could be a friend that I could have. I was trying to be, you know, optimistic about it. So, we went on one date. We had a really good first date, I thought.
Yes.
But then you didn't call me again.
No, because you were going to go back to college in North Carolina. And you were crazy out of my league. I was like an idiot working at a sign shop, and you were like smart college girl.
Well, I did not think that. And so I went to my stepdad and said, hey, Jim didn't ask me out again. The next thing you knew, you asked me out again.
I know. He came over to my desk and he was like, you need to call Erin. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, pick up the phone.
And then we've been together ever since our second date. Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Also, pro tip to all the young men out there who are dating the boss's daughter, you do have to quit. You have to go out on your own. So that was actually why, why I left that job. I was like, I'm getting in too deep with this family. Like I love the daughter. I love the business. I love the industry, but I want to make sure that, I have some separation. I can build my own family and not be like so side by side with this other family.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, that's how you started your first business, your first real business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you've been with me for a number of businesses now.
Yes.
Yeah. This one's pretty fun though.
This one's the best.
Okay. In this episode, we wanted to talk about, because we work together every day and we built this company together. People have heard some of my insight into, how the business was built and the struggles that we've had. But I think your perspective would be very, very interesting because you deal with a lot of stuff that I never have to. So I'm curious to dig into, struggles with HR and finance and accounting and all the stuff that you battle on a day-to-day basis. So where I'd like to start is kind of your background. You didn't always work for SendCutSend. Where did you start?
I did not. After college, I became a teacher. I was an elementary school teacher for about 9 years. And I got the opportunity after 9 years to stay home with our wonderful children. And I stayed home with the kids for about 7 years while you built other businesses. And, as the kids got older, there wasn't such a need for me to be home all the time. And we had started this business called SendCutSend, and I was looking for something to do. And so I started out by, showing up and helping where I could, running errands.
Yeah. This is what, 2018, 2019?
2020.
Oh, 2020.
It was literally after everything got shut down for COVID. I think the kids were stuck home from school, and I was looking for something to occupy my time. So you invited me down to the shop, and I started doing whatever needed to be done.
Yeah.
And that was actually a really cool way to start, because I learned all sides of the business all at once. And we were small enough where I could, help anywhere.
Yeah. What were we? We had 6 or 7 people, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember during COVID, I remember us all standing outside in a circle, social distance or whatever, to have our morning meetings. So what were some of the first things that you did in the early days of
I
Erin
definitely
and
got lunch every day for everyone.
Yes.
So that is actually a more important role than anyone knows. We still offer lunch every single day to our employees, and someone has to order it. Someone has to deal with catering. It's challenging.
Across multiple shifts, multiple locations.
Yes. So, I did things like that. I started helping with just paying bills and going through the mail. I mean, just such simple stuff. But during that time, I was picking up on everything that was happening in the shop. I was getting to know every employee. I was understanding how the equipment worked, what our customers were ordering, the struggles that we were having with shipping. So it was really exciting, even though I wasn't doing the most exciting work. It was like I was learning, as we were growing, and I got to do this thing with you where I had a challenge every day, even if it was just catering.
Yeah. I think what was nice is with you starting kind of at ground zero, we were able to kind of grow into these different roles. When you're 7 or 8 people, and you just wear many hats, you can kind of figure out what hats you really want to wear, later on. Here we are 7 years later, and I guess the roles have changed a little bit. I mean, you're not ordering lunch as often anymore, right?
I'm not ordering lunch anymore.
Yeah.
No, the cool thing is that I got to learn all the facets of, let's call it the front office stuff. But at the same time, I was also learning all the production. But I gravitated more towards the accounting side, the people operations side, and that's what I mostly focus on today. So that's where I tend to want to be. But I know a lot more than I ever thought I would know about sheet metal fabrication.
I think we all do. Yeah.
It's amazing, and it isn't where, I thought I would be, but it's what drives us every day. It is exciting. I get excited about equipment. I get excited when I go out on the floor and I see, our different customers and what they're ordering. And so it's, even though it wasn't, my passion to begin with, it has become that.
Cool. Well, and I think the people side is probably satisfying for you in some way. Yeah. I mean, you've always been fascinated with, human interest stories and teaching and the compassion that you give to kids and everything else. I think you can apply that to our 300 employees right now.
Definitely. I mean, everything from, hiring and onboarding to training new employees. I mean, that's near and dear to my heart, just from the educational standpoint, and just, working to provide a great environment for our employees, great benefits. I mean, those are the things that drive me, and I continually think about how we can make things better or provide more for our staff. So
yeah, sometimes I think I get worried about getting stuff out the door on time or getting machines to run more efficiently, and you're the one being like, hey, let me make sure that you get that PTO request, and let me make sure the air conditioning is set at a correct temperature. I think without you and without setting that culture, it would probably be a little more ruthless. So I think you had a good balance. And
it might be a little more corporate. I definitely know just about every single one of our employees, not just on a first name basis, but I know, about their lives and their families, and I know what departments they work in, and I know, as employees, I know their performance. I know who are stellar performers, and I know the employees who, just need a little more training or more coaching. And so that's where I can, really, I think, make an impact.
Yeah, that's that weird teacher skill where you can memorize 30 students' names before lunch.
Yeah.
I still am requesting name tags. I am not good with names, although I can identify just about anyone. I'm like, oh, that's like cool glasses guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, cool
Yeah.
glasses guy, if you're listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love them all. I just may not know your name. So let's talk about we went from, you working maybe 10 hours a week, going to Costco and opening mail to now, 70 to 80 hours a week?
Probably, yes.
Erin's shift starts at about 6:30 and ends at about 8:30 at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get a little break in there for dinner. But of course, as business owners, I think we love it. I think about the business 24/7. I'm sorry that you do too, but I dragged you into this.
No, I mean, some days are hard or more challenging than others because we do have a family that, we're trying to see our children, and they're getting older. So it's like, you have the last years left with them, and I'm trying to stay on top of everything that's going on in their lives. But, the alternative to us not doing this, I don't know what that is, and I don't really want to know what that is.
We had a little bit of insight into that with the previous company, with the software company.
What do you mean?
Where I was working a lot, and then you were at home, and I think us together is better than us apart, because I would be stressed about something and you would have no context. Today, when we're stressed, we both know exactly why. Maybe it's about different parts of the company, but we're both fighting the same battle.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is that we are side by side in the battle. It's you and I don't battle each other. It's rare that we disagree on some, trajectory of the company or decision that we're making. And if we do disagree, the nice thing is you can go home at night and talk it all through. And, I think we're really good at seeing each other's side, and I understand what your vision is for the company, and, your vision needs to drive this company. And so I feel for all of us at SendCutSend that, it's our job to facilitate that. Otherwise, you may not be a good fit to work here.
Yeah. I would say to anyone listening, and you are working with your spouse or partner or whatever, pro tip is, work in different departments. If we were both in manufacturing, it would be a challenge. Or if we were both in HR or both in accounting or something, there's a little more friction there. But because, you're on a totally different, almost like a different floor than me. Sometimes
Definitely.
I'll have to come find you at a facility and be like, hey, I haven't seen you all day, and say hi. But then on the ride home or at dinner, when we're talking, we both relate a lot. So it's really cool. It's not like you're complaining about someone at work. I'm like, I don't know who that person is.
Right.
It's kind of nice. Now, how about our personal balance? Because I think one of the questions out there is, live together, work together. How does that work out?
I mean, I think it works out the same. The way we are professionally is the way we are personally. Do you see a big difference?
No. I mean, we joke. I always say, how can I miss you if you never leave? Because we are side by side. But really, it is kind of like we work at the same company, but we're not sitting right next to each other. We're not stepping on each other's toes.
No.
So if anything, I actually think it makes our relationship better to be fighting the same battle all day, or having the same wins too. When we have a success, we get to celebrate that together. When there's a challenge, we double up on it.
Right.
And I just think of the last time when I was running a software company and you weren't involved, I would have some kind of crazy challenge or some stress, and there's no way that you could relate. You would try to, but you didn't understand the jargon, or you didn't understand the struggle, or maybe it seemed not as important, and you're like, oh, just get over it.
Right.
Here, I'm like, hey, XYZ happened, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
You instantly know how bad that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the fact that we're pretty independent of each other, at home and at work is really helpful. There's not this codependency where, we need to be joined at the hip.
Yeah.
So, if you're working on, work over the weekend, which you tend to do, it's like I have plenty going on in my life too. So I think that's what's helped us over the years.
So work-life balance, is there any?
No.
I think a lot of small business owners would agree.
I think so. I think I know other people who own businesses and they own the business to, live, right? The business provides a lifestyle for them and they don't obsess about their business. And they don't have a true passion for it. I think what you and I do, what we bring to the table is we really, really love what we do. And so even though there isn't that good work-life balance, I'm not looking for it. There's some days where, it'd be nice not to work until 9 p.m. or 11 p.m., but I would not want the alternative. And, I'm not sure right now at this stage of the business that work-life balance is possible, but luckily we're set up for that. Our kids are older and this is what we both love to do. Neither of us is like, oh, I'd really like to, go retire at this lake house. It's like, that's not what we're wanting. And so it's mutual.
Yeah, no, I agree. We don't really run the business we don't go to work so that we can do something different on the weekend.
Right.
Like we do the same thing every single day. And I don't know, I still enjoy it. I enjoy it constantly.
I think there's, a lot of urgency about at this stage of the business, still 6 years in, there's still so much to do. And there's, so much that we still need to create and make happen and exciting plans. And you can't do that by working a 40-hour week. I just don't think it's possible, to go where we are looking to go with this business. It's not a 40-hour week job.
Yeah. Well, and it is a family affair. Because we
true.
also have the children who are on and off involved in the business.
Yeah.
So like Allie and Ryan, how often are they showing up?
Ryan comes in and works on the shop floor
Ryan's
with
15.
safety guidelines, and he comes in every break and summer and works with the guys. He knows them well and, makes pocket money. And so that's been wonderful. They've grown up in the shop basically the past 6 years. And our daughter has been your intern once or twice.
Assistant to the CEO. Yep.
So, the kids, I don't think the kids have a lot of, bitterness or anything about, oh, mom and dad are at work again. Like they know that this is our life. And I think our kids are really appreciative of what this, the life that they do have that's provided to them, through our hard work.
Yeah, they get to DoorDash all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So outside of work-life balance and our relationship and then balancing the family, what are some of the bigger challenges that you personally had to overcome, as the business has grown and scaled over the last few years?
Yeah, I think initially I didn't realize how capital intensive this business was going to be. At the beginning, when you came to me and you said, hey, I have this idea for this business. I want to buy this laser. Let me tell you why I think that I could, other people will want these services too. I'm pretty sure you said it would print money.
And every piece of equipment, I'm like, that's going to print money. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And you had a day job at the time. So I was like, okay, go for it. This sounds really cool. Compared to the software company, it's a very tangible, product that we're making. And it made sense to me. So, but little did I realize, how fast we would grow and how expensive it is to start a business like this. And so, we, as put in quite a bit of our own funds into this business at the beginning. And, that was a challenge for us to make that all work and to justify that expense. And, we were paying payroll out of our own pocket and, buying equipment and that sort of thing. And I look back and it's all worth it, right? I would do it again 100 times. But, the struggle financially throughout building this business is, we need to buy this equipment and we're no longer using our own funds. Who's going to take a chance on us? How can we show, the banks and lenders that we're the real deal and we are making money, we're profitable, and we have this great future. But, how do we get what we need?
Selling that story is hard. And what I've found is people will throw money at you when you don't need it. If you're highly successful and you have years-long track record and you're making money, they're bending over backwards trying to give you a loan. And that's not when you need it. When we need it is when you're a year or two old and you're growing and it's really cool. But they say, come back when you have, 4 years of positive tax returns or whatever. I'm like, well, I'm not going to make it, if I don't get this loan. So you've navigated that really well, though. Like how did you convince, some of these people to give us a loan on $1 million piece of equipment?
Well, I think, part of it is building relationships with lenders, seizing opportunities when you see them and just continuing those relationships. So just, basically networking and, continually showing them the growth of your business. And I think the biggest reason why, we get the trust that we do and we've gotten the funding that we have is your story and your ability to sell our business and have them drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, because, your personality is so dynamic that people instinctively, trust you, but you also know exactly what you're talking about. And you are our first customer, the ins and outs of this business. You have all this experience that, you're able to sell this story. And so for me, that's where I go to when I'm like, hey, I'm thinking that, we're going to have this relationship with this bank. Can you come in and sell it to them?
Yeah.
So it's a partnership.
It is. I think what you do really well is you say, hey, here's where we're going. And if they say no, you go, no problem. And then 6 months later, you're like, hey, remember I told you where we were going? Well, we're there now.
Yeah.
And now here's where we're going. And so this long play of building that relationship and staying on top of someone over a period of months or years, that's a great way to build that lending relationship. If you say, hey, I'm going to hit this target, and then you hit that target, they start to go, okay, these people know what they're talking about, and then they will loosen up their wallet a little bit. So
it also helps when you are profitable. And that's something that was a challenge for the first several years. And it wasn't because we weren't making money. We had great revenue, but we were growing so quickly and we needed to buy so much equipment. We needed to hire so many people so fast that, we didn't always look great on paper, to the banks.
Yeah, well, coming from the world of SaaS, subscription software, basically, you hire some great engineers and you can produce something that is just distributed digitally. There's no shipping, there's no raw materials. Payroll, of course, is a huge chunk. But beyond that, it makes good money. And we're like, okay, we can do something similar, but we'll do it in hardware. Like Erin said, capital intensive doesn't even begin to talk about it. And, when you're spending millions and millions of dollars, not only on equipment, but on inventory, and then lots and lots of people, and then buildings and expansion and square footage and everything else, it starts to spiral out of control. And then when you have a good product, you have demand, and you can't really say no to people. You can adjust your pricing a little bit to try and throttle it. But then you have to just invest anything you're making. And
especially when you're new, what I observed, that your strategy was at the beginning is, our pricing has to be competitive. We can't, you almost can't worry about being profitable to a certain extent because you've got to build that customer base before, you worry about the rest. So
yeah.
I felt like that was your strategy at the time.
Yeah. Well, also I didn't know anything. So it seemed like it was going to work. I guess that's something I want to get into. Like I'm very much, I just go off of like a vibe. I'm like, I think this is going to work. I can see a vague picture of where we're going. And I'm usually pretty confident and pretty happy. I love the challenge. I think I'm picking up a little more fear on your side though. Like, can you talk about, sometimes when you had doubts or fear?
Yeah, I mean, I think there has been such a big mix for us, for me, of fear, balancing the risk taking, celebrating the wins, but also kind of being scared to celebrate at times because, it's like you get over one hump and then, the next one is right there. So, the financial aspect, I think we've talked about, it's a risk and I'm glad we've done it. Because all of our hard work has paid off and the company is profitable and things are going so well. We figured so many things out. But during those struggle years, I mean, it's, you have a piece of equipment go down that's essential and you and I are losing sleep for weeks at a time, trying to figure out like how do we get this laser back online.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin and Juan for running our first laser for 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
When the other one broke, the brand new one just died for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think that if you had to ask me what was the most stressful time in the company, that might be it because that was way back when we only had a couple lasers and when half of your machines are down. And you still want to provide this great customer experience. It's stressful.
Pro tip to anyone who's thinking about getting into a business that has short deadlines or is quick turn, you have to have multiple pieces of equipment. Yes. You have to have redundancy.
Yes.
Double up your air compressors, double up your drill presses, whatever product you're making, if it's quick turn, you have to have backups.
And that's where I have never argued against buying more equipment when it means that we have that stability to load balance across facilities. When, if we have an additional laser ready to go, it's like, oh my gosh, what a relief. The stress of, machine issues, I think has been challenging.
Yeah. We're getting used to it, but it never ends.
It never ends.
Yeah. There's always a little bit of surge capacity, but never enough.
Yeah.
What's something that you're most proud of? We've had all those struggles. We've had the scary times with the equipment being down and crazy growth and debt and everything else. Like, what are you super proud of? What is your best accomplishment so far?
I probably have a few. I mean, because, personally, for you and I to be able to do this together, I'm so proud of us that we've been able to, stay married, have a great relationship.
Pretty proud of that too. Yeah.
I'm proud, and our relationship is better than ever, because we are fighting the same battles. So, I feel like every day is a new challenge and we grow and, we're better every day. The company is, you and I are, I feel like I've grown into a different kind of leadership position than I ever have been. Sometimes I don't even realize how much I know until someone new starts and I, start talking to them about our production process. And I'm like, wow, I have like by osmosis on purpose, absorbed all of this information about our business and our industry. And so personally for me, those are kind of my wins. But for the company, I think at this moment, I'm really proud of this whole CNC venture that we're going on. That, I mean, it's an obvious next step to what we're doing right now, but it's so different too, and so it's really exciting. I'm like, we have pulled a lot together in a short period of time.
Yeah, it feels like it's brand new again. I guess it's such a huge new challenge. It's the same in a lot of ways, and it's very different in other ways. So it's almost like taking on a new hobby. It's like, oh, we we've done painting with watercolors, and now we're going to try oil paints or something. It's similar, but it's like, whoa, I have to start totally from scratch in some ways.
Well, and I think, the potential demand that you are starting to see from just talking to our customers is so exciting. So you're right. I think it feels new again. But ask us in a year. We'll see
Yeah. Oh my God.
how it's going.
Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll find out here pretty quick.
Yeah.
What's something that you wish you would have known before you started this? What's one piece of advice that you wish someone told you?
Oh my gosh. Well, for me, my personality tends to be a little bit more of a pleaser. I can't say that, I think there's that whole like imposter syndrome with me. And I wish that back at the beginning, someone would have just pulled me aside and been like, be confident because this is your company. You do know what you're doing. You do know what you're talking about. Don't doubt yourself. So that's kind of like a constant evolution. I don't see you being that way as much, but...
Well, I grew up with this kind of stuff. Like I'm familiar with fabrication. I'm familiar with, making parts and stuff. You weren't exposed to that growing up.
No, but I mean, even on the side of building a business and being a leader.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you are natural in a lot of ways too. And I think maybe that's, the teaching experience, and your education and just, life skills or whatever. I think I don't know. You lead in a non-traditional way, but it's it's in a way that is very additive to our culture.
Yeah, I think it's just when you've never worked in the business world or never started a business yourself or been involved with the build, it's intimidating because it seems like there are people out there who are the experts. You should be doing things like them. You need to talk the same talk and you need to, bring in these experts because mom and dad need to, come in and tell you how to run this business. And I think over time, especially the past couple of years, I think you and I have realized like, we do get to choose how we want to run this business. It does not have to be this prescribed, structured entity. It really is ours to develop and do as we want to do it. I mean, we're not providing lunches for everybody, and thinking that we're like saving money. We're doing this to, promote a great culture for our employees. And we can do that. We're allowed. And it's cool that we do. And, the decisions we make, I feel like we haven't made any bad decisions that I could think of off the top of my head.
We've had a lot of lessons. We've had a lot of learnings. Yeah. There's never been a decision that a bad decision that we couldn't recover from.
No.
I chalk it up to education. Some of those education moments have been expensive, but we're not going to do it again. So
yeah,
I guess, I think a lot of people, small business owners, they look up to larger companies and they're like, oh, that company must be successful because of this org structure or because they have, all these C-level people or they bring in, MBA consultants or whatever. So people do a lot of mimicking and it gets them into trouble. And I think what we've learned is if we just do it this way, because this is the only way we know how, it's actually really successful.
Well, and if we do it the way that feels right to us, which means taking care of our staff, which means providing this great product for our customers. We don't have to put candy in the boxes either, but we do because
we do have to put
okay,
candy
we
in the
do
boxes.
now.
Yeah, it's critical.
But I love that we can do this, and we aren't so concerned about.
We don't have a board.
No.
That's telling us like how profitable we need to be or whatever. And I think it's very freeing. And a lot of people think that, oh, I'm at a certain size, I need to have an advisory board, because that's what everyone does. And no, have one if you want. Have one if it's going to make you a better leader. But if you don't want one, you don't have to. You don't have to, keep up with the Joneses with running a business. There's a lot of books on business, but it doesn't mean that you have to follow those books.
I think all those books are on your bedside table.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. They're
like, I I want to read them, but I haven't. I did read the Walmart book is really good.
You've read a lot of
and
them.
the Les Schwab
Yes.
book, yeah.
Yes.
So what are you most excited about for the future? You mentioned CNC. Anything beyond that?
Erin's anodizing. For whatever reason, we've been calling it Erin's anodizing because I got really excited about this project. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because it makes the parts look pretty. I don't know. But it speaks to me in some way. But I'm really excited to start anodizing, hopefully this year. And I don't know why. It feels like the right extension of our offerings.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it helps us control the process a little bit more. That's the only third-party thing that we have.
Yeah.
And it's challenging for it to be reliable. So for us to control that process, I don't know. I get a lot of security in that. I think you do too. I know that you like being able to make sure that things are under your control and
That's true.
They happen when you want them to happen. So
Yeah.
I think we'll end it there. Thank
Okay.
you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Love you very much.
I love you.
Okay. Do we have an outro? Am I supposed to say something?
Can you say, like, thanks for listening? Love to have your feedback. Find us on Insta and YouTube at SendCutSend.
Can we just use that?
Thanks for joining us on today's episode. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at justgonnasendit@sendcutsend.com or find us on socials at SendCutSend at Jim Belosic. Don't forget to subscribe, download, and share with your friends. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode.